Hello and welcome to the Talking NorCal Podcast, the official podcast of Active NorCal. I am your host, Zach O'Brien. With me, as always, it's Bob.
You just keep forgetting to do a nickname.
I keep forgetting.
I mean, you just don't have your podcast legs under you.
We've been busy. We're putting out a magazine this month, and it's a lot. It's a lot of editing. It's a lot of designing. So we've been busy. But Bob is here. How you doing today, Bob?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, as always.
So we have a great episode coming up today. We're going to talk about all the news across Northern California. And then we have the wonderful Hailey Hawkins from the League to Save Lake Tahoe, otherwise known as Keep Tahoe Blue. We brought her on for an interview. They do amazing things. We've partnered with them on a couple things, but they're doing awesome things in Tahoe. So it was great to talk to her. But first, this episode is brought to you by Houseboats.com. Yes, houseboats.com is Silverthorne and Jones Valley resorts on Shasta Lake. We have teamed with them to do our biggest giveaway ever for the Active NorCal magazine. We are giving away a 3-night houseboat rental on Shasta Lake with houseboats.com. The winner will receive a gift certificate for the Odyssey houseboat. Sleeps 15 to 19 people. Includes 8 beds, 2 private staterooms, 1.5 baths, a hot tub. This is amazing. So, Bob, you went out to Shasta Lake yesterday. You got some footage. You met with the houseboats.com people. What's the lake like? How's it looking?
So, the lake's low at this time of year. That just is how it is. But what an absolutely gorgeous day to go out to Jones Valley. I met with Myron, who is marketing director / kind of dude who does a lot of things at Jones Valley, and just had a great conversation. He led me through the Odyssey, which let me just tell you is a absolutely incredible boat. 2 stories, it's so much fun all packed into one. I haven't been on a houseboat in many years, but every single houseboat that they have out there at Jones Valley has a hot tub on it. That's not a thing that I've ever seen before, but it was just great to get out there. We're giving away their Odyssey, which is their second and biggest boat, and I also got a tour of their biggest boat, which is the Titan. I think they have 3 of them. That's a 3-story boat. I don't know if I mentioned the Odyssey has a slide that goes out the back, which is pretty common nowadays. The Titan, which is 3-story, has a 3-story corkscrew slide that goes from the very 3rd floor down to the water. It has so many bedrooms. Every bedroom in it has its own TV that has direct TV setup, and on that big dog Starlink internet.
Oh wow!
So you get them for 7 days at a time. He told me the price absolutely reasonable for the amount of people that you're having on board. And one cool thing that Jones Valley does is they have the quad squad, they call them. So, anybody that wins this, they'll pull up with all of their luggage and things, and they will be met by these guys on quads that have, trailers behind their quads, and they will literally bring all of your luggage to the boat for you, which I thought was really cool. And it's just awesome. It was a gorgeous day out there. Had a great day with Myron, and we're incredibly thankful to partner with Houseboats.com.
Huge shout out to Houseboats.com. This is our biggest giveaway. It's worth more than $3,000. So here's the deal. We've been doing these giveaways. We talk about them a lot. These are for subscribers to the Active NorCal print magazine only.
You gotta be a subscriber to the magazine. It is crucial.
Look, it's $30 a year. And by the way, it's not $30 a year because you're listening to the Talking NorCal podcast. Use the code Talking NorCal in checkout to get $10 off your subscription. So you get a full subscription for the year for $20. Then you can enter this contest for a $3,000 houseboat rental. Subscribe to the magazine. You can go on to Instagram or Facebook and check out any of our posts promoting this. Comment houseboat. And then we'll send you a DM that, you have to confirm your subscription. This is a 2-week giveaway. We're going to choose the winner on November 19th. This is awesome. We're super excited about this. So We hope you guys enter. We hope you subscribe. Again, use the code Talking NorCal, so your subscription's only $20. It's a can't lose.
You know, it's not. We love that you guys are subscribing to the magazine, and we love partnering with these local companies like this. And we ultimately want you to subscribe to the magazine, but we also want you to book a houseboat trip. And Myron shared with me when I was there that they're going to have the biggest sale ever very soon this month. Between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, it's 25% off bookings. So that's literally 25% off. It's the biggest sale of the entire year. So if you're planning on going on a trip, a houseboating trip in Shasta Lake, that would be the best time to book. So just if you're looking to get a deal between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, houseboats.com, 25% off. Go get yours.
Houseboats.com. Okay, we got a lot to get to. Let's take it to the Tahoes. Hella NorCal.
NorCal, we're hella NorCal, and I could spend all day just chilling in the South Bay. We're NorCal, we're hella NorCal, and Darren knows how to do to kick it down in Santa Cruz. We're NorCal, we're hella NorCal, and we get a little cray-cray when we visit the East Bay. We're NorCal, we're hella NorCal.
Okay, it's a busy week here in NorCal. You know, we have a lot of news to cover, but first I just want to talk about weather, right? We talk about weather a lot on this podcast because it really impacts the outdoors of Northern California, whether you're traveling somewhere or you're trying to ski, you're trying to bike, whatever, you're going to be impacted by the weather. So we got snow across NorCal this weekend. Lassen closed its road. I don't think it's for the winter yet, but it's closed right now. Yosemite closed Tioga Road. So essentially, this first big storm, we're moving into winter operations. Tahoe ski resorts have announced their opening dates. They essentially run from November 15th to the end or early first week of December. So we're literally a month out from most of the ski resorts opening. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because if there's not a single flake that falls on these ski resorts, until then, they'll probably delay it like they usually do.
Yeah, we've been lucky for the last few years with regards to water, but we're not unfamiliar with drought type, conditions. Now, I do take full credit with the last few years being wet with, if you haven't watched before, all of the rain dance type of sounds that I created for this podcast. But we don't know what's going to happen this year. I mean, I think everyone, the experts are saying it's going to be a more wet winter this year again. Maybe not as wet as previous years, but a lot of the economy of Northern California is driven by water specifically, and not just from a recreational standpoint, but also from farming, things like that. So the first rain is good. First precipitation is great. We want more. We can always use more. We're, as everyone knows, we are in fire season now. So the more precipitation we get, the better.
Yeah. It's a La Nina year. So what does that mean, you ask? It means we don't know what the hell's going to happen. But, La Nina and El Nino, have different characteristics.
One's a male and one's a female, I believe.
That's correct. So what's crazy about La Nina and El Nino, so if you live in Southern California, or say you live in the state of Washington, you can actually get some information from a La Nina El Nino year. We're right on that line. We're right in the middle, where it depends how far north or south the La Nina El Nino is, right? So for us, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up every year. But La Nina could bring extreme weather. It could bring, dry months during the winter, but then like super wet months like we had in Tahoe 2 years ago, February and December and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Like you said, we are seeing some early precipitation this year, which is always good. October 1st is the start of the water year. So the more water we can get in, the better. You talked about Shasta Lake kind of being low right now, which is normal.
Yeah.
But it needs to fill up, right? So we need that precipitation to start rolling in late October, early November, and then obviously pick up big come December. So it's a good start. But yeah, winter's here.
Winter is here.
Yeah, so that's fun. Make sure, check your tires and everything, and be careful on the roads out there. We posted a video. There were like a ton of wrecks on I-80. They had chain controls.
I had a friend who hydroplaned because, when it doesn't rain for a while and then it does, those types of things happen. So yeah, be careful out there.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, there was already, people skiing on Mount Shasta.
I did not see that.
Yeah. It's the Shasta mountain guides. So they just went up there and skied on like 7 or not even 7 inches, like a couple inches of snow.
Nice.
But it's a celebration of the turn of the seasons.
Listen, it feels like it. And
it's cold.
My whole life, I was a summer kid. Summer was my favorite time of year. So much far and beyond any other season. I am not like that anymore. So I like the summer, but give me fall, give me winter, give me spring. That's my favorite time of year, especially right now. We're in the holidays. We just finished, Halloween, which was great. Taking your son out, which was hilarious, by the way. And the leaves are turning like crazy
Rapidly.
I mean, even out at Shasta Lake yesterday, I called you. I was like, dude, it's perfect conditions. Like the leaves are turning. It's not like the harsh sunlight that you get during the summertime. It's like kind of the softer. It's just a beautiful time of year. It feels great outside. I get to wear my hoodies. I get to wear my jackets again, long pants all the time. It's great. I love it. Yeah,
it's a good time of year. I can't wait till those big storms start rolling in. That's kind of exciting for us to be able to, people know Active NorCal. We report on both wildfires and weather because they both impact outdoor adventurers in Northern California. So the big storms are always fun because it's a very visual experience. We get to share those visuals on social media.
This is our busy season.
It's about to be come December, January, depending on when the snow actually starts coming in heavy. So super fun. I'm excited. Love winter.
Me too. Let's get to some NorCal notes.
All right, let's do it.
All right, first story. Invasive mussels detected in California waters for the first time in North America. Kind of scary.
Yeah, it's not good news. The golden mussel, it's an invasive species from Asia, and they found it in the port of Stockton. It's the first time they've ever seen this type of mussel in North America, ever. So, it probably came in from one of those international shipping boats. But, as soon as you see it in this area, they spread very easily. It's an invasive freshwater species. So if it gets on any boat and that boat goes to another piece of water, that invasive species goes. This could be, that water that they found it is connected to the Delta, so the Delta could see overall quality of water, diminish. It can do a lot of things that are just bad for overall the ecosystem of our waterways, but also, water supply, moving waters around. They just degrade all the infrastructure. So it's not great news. And I know the CDFW is, working really hard to contain it as fast as you can. But this is the type of news that just sucks.
Yeah, people think mussels. They think, seafood platters or what have you, but not all of them are good. And this is an invasive one, and it has devastated both South America and Asia, where it has been found before. So trying to eradicate this and trying to, get ahead of it as much as possible is going to be crucial in the next couple of years.
It's this. There's a huge effort by wildlife officials in California to rid waterways of invasive species. I mean, I saw recently that, they're giving money to people to fish for certain types of fish, to rid them from different waterways. You catch the fish and you toss them because they're bad, they're invasive. we talk about coming up with Hailey Hawkins, invasive species in Lake Tahoe, has severely degraded the water quality in Lake Tahoe. So that's why if you want to bring your boat to Tahoe, you have to go through a major inspection basically every time, unless it's parked there permanently. Every time you go into Lake Tahoe, they inspect it. So these are not good for the quality of our water, and that's why it's a big deal.
Yeah, we talk about precipitation being a big part of the ecosystem and the economics of Northern California. Fresh water is like the core of that, right? I'm looking at a picture right now of Lake Tahoe. I mean, that's fresh water. And so getting ahead of this, it's incredibly important. Don't love to see it, but the fact that it seems as if they're taking the proper precautions to do everything in their powers to eradicate it is being done.
Yeah, just make sure if you do have a boat, just check it, clean it, make sure there are no species on your boat before you drop it back in the water.
We have pictures on the article on activenorcal.com. You can go take a look at them just to get eyes on them. If you see any mussels similar, definitely do your due diligence and report them accordingly.
Yep.
Okay, next story. I talked about Lake Tahoe. South Lake Tahoe votes on a measure to tax vacant vacation homes. This is a little controversial.
Yeah, so just to be clear, we are taping this on Election Day.
People don't tape things anymore, but yes, we are recording it.
We are recording it on Election Day. This will get released on Thursday. So we'll probably know the outcome of this vote by Thursday. So the Measure N, it's a proposal to tax vacation homes in South Lake Tahoe that sit vacant for more than 182 days a year. It's a huge problem, not only in South Lake Tahoe, but other mountain towns around the country, around the world, that people come in, they buy property, they either leave it vacant and vacation there, or they VRBO it out and use it that way. So South Lake Tahoe has had enough of it. They have a housing shortage. They have people that work in restaurants, in the ski resorts, that just cannot afford housing because all these houses are taken up. Mammoth Lakes has a huge problem with this right now too, where people come from around the world to work at these ski resorts. They want to, live in these great mountain towns and ski and work, but they can't afford housing in Mammoth Lake because most of the homes are owned by people that don't actually live there. So it says South Lake Tahoe has a nearly 44% of homes empty as of 2022. So Measure N aims to encourage homeowners to rent their property or to do other things to make sure that they are that people are using the home at least half of the year.
Here's the thing. You can own a house and it be your vacation house and it be vacant for more than 6 months of the year. But that house, if it had occupants in it, would be grocery shopping in the local grocery stores, would be, visiting the local bars, would be going to the local restaurants and bringing money to the local economy. So I absolutely understand why this proposition is being put out there. I don't know. I don't have a vote on it. I'm not in the Tahoe area, but I can tell you right now, I don't know enough to know. I have a feeling I would vote one way, but I would have to do more research because I don't like to just tax to tax. Also, how are they, and they probably do have this, how are they regulating it? Like, do you have to check into your own house? Like, it's like, you can say you're living there, but even if like you have a vacation home that's vacant less than 6 months a year, maybe this will encourage people to send their family and be like, hey, why don't you stay at the Tahoe house? And again, bring some more money to the local community. So I do like the encouragement of getting more occupancy in these vacant homes. I don't know if taxing this way is the exact right way of doing it, but we're seeing this housing issues all over the country. And there is no perfect scenario of how to fix it. But I mean, this is just one.
Yeah, I get both sides of the argument. If you own a home and you have the right to use that home for whatever the hell you want to use it for. But in specific instances like this, where places like Tahoe, eventually, like, people aren't going to afford to work at a restaurant and live there, right? So you own a home in a town that doesn't have any services because no one can afford to live there, or they're living out of their car, which is not good for anybody, right? So this measure would impose a $3,000 annual tax on homes. And if they keep being taxed based on this, that would raise to $6,000 in subsequent years,
which is a lot of money. That's $500 a month if you get to $6,000. But and that's not small change. But if you own
if you own a home that you're not even doing anything with, you could probably afford
in Tahoe specifically
to $6,000. And in that case, give it to the city and let them, help with the infrastructure to help these people. Whether it be affordable homes or, public transportation to help them get around, all sorts of things that they can use this money towards. So I find it fascinating. Again, I know we're talking about it, and we'll probably, by the time it's released, that we'll probably know whether it's passed or not. But I just wanted to talk about it because it is a problem going on, not only in these mountain towns in Northern California, but across the country, across the world, where people, the people who are crucial to these towns cannot afford to live in their own towns.
I predict it will not pass because it's the local community that's voting on it, and it's the local community that would have to pay.
I predict it will pass.
Do you?
Because, this has been a huge thing in South Lake Tahoe for a while. The VRBOs have taken over, right? And so...
but would those be considered vacant?
No, they're not vacant.
Got it.
But they create trash problems, which attract bears.
Trash problems? What do you mean?
Okay, so let's say you have a VRBO and 3 different groups are staying there with 10 people a group in a single week. They just have so much trash that they're putting out. By the way, these people don't know how to properly put the trash out. So there's bear problems, right? Like they don't lock up the bear canisters properly. Also, there's parking problems, especially in winter. Like where you can't park on the roads in the winter. So they have cars everywhere. And then there's noise problems. These people come to South Lake to party. They're up until 2, 3, 4 in the morning being loud. And the neighbors that just want to live their life and live in a beautiful place like South Lake Tahoe don't want that. So they've actually limited the number of VRBOs, Airbnbs in town. So yeah, housing has been a huge issue in South Lake Tahoe, just period. And they've already voted to limit the VRBOs. So this is just another measure that's saying give the town back to the locals type thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand about the trash problem, but whatever. It is what it is.
Well, you have more trash if you have all these people.
But what we're arguing is there's not enough people there. But if is there not enough people, or is there too many people for the trash problem? And I get that people don't understand how to accurately, but that seems like a local issue that should be solved with maybe.
So there's empty homes that don't use their trash cans, and there's VRBOs that overuse their trash cans.
Sure, but yeah. Yeah.
And it's mostly, of course you don't want litter and everything, but it's mostly a bear problem. These people come in, they have overflowing trash cans, and then the bears come in and they wreak havoc on these homes. So, maybe the trash isn't the biggest part of it, but it is a part of it. So,
yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how, Measure N turns out. Probably later today by the time this comes out.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into the next story. The next story is kind of a fun one, honestly. Fisherman crashes helicopter into East Fork Carson River. How cool of a story is this?
So, well, he's okay.
He's alive.
He's okay. Yeah. I don't know the damage that was caused to the helicopter. I really wanted to include this in the podcast because I didn't know people flew in their own personal helicopters to go fly fishing. I've never heard of anyone in Northern California do this. And so, long and the short, a fisherman, unnamed fisherman,
which I thought was funny,
was injured when he flew his private helicopter to the East Carson River in Alpine County. Then he landed on the shore, and the gravel gave in, and the helicopter fell into the water.
Part of the river's edge gave way.
Yes,
just due to erosion because of the water and because of the weight of the helicopter, so much so that it tipped over and fell into the actual river itself. Now, I think he was in it, but it wasn't like operating. He was like parked, but in it when this all occurred, though. Is that what you understand as well?
Yeah, so he was attempting to take off when it happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he was trying to leave.
Yes.
Got it.
So, and by the way, if you see the picture of it on our website, it is fully submerged in the
it's a full
East Carson River.
Yeah.
And so just to be clear, they said, there was no leaking of any fluids into the river. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. You submerge a helicopter, wouldn't some fuel come out? But that's nonetheless.
As of recording this, helicopter is still in the water.
I think they pulled it out by now.
Wow. I mean, how many days ago did this happen?
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was at least a week ago.
Oh,
it was a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the date. So, people are flying their personal helicopters to go fishing. I didn't know this was a thing.
That's the only thing. That's the only reason why I wanted to talk about
I know.
this
It's awesome.
Like, this guy's awesome. Like, I want to be friends with this guy bad.
Totally.
Like, hey, babe, I'm going to go fishing. Just jumps in his helicopter, flies who knows how far away, parks right on the side. I mean, if he's a fly fisherman, there's no reason for him to have any catch in the, fly home. Just rip some lip wherever you want. Literally the most private areas in the whole world. I mean, like,
I'm thinking of all the areas you just can't get to.
Yeah, unless you hike days.
Like the Middle Fork of the American River, you can only fish it, and it's awesome brown trout in there. You can only fish it by going through Class 5 rapids, which people do, but it's like hard. You need, a guide and the right boats and everything.
That'd be a fun question to ask our dad, the professional fly fishing guide journalist. If you could have a helicopter to fly you to any remote stream or pond or what have you in the entire Northern California, we'll just use as an example, where would you go? I wonder what he'd say.
Yeah. I wonder who this guy is. Look, he's clearly somewhat wealthy. If he owns his own helicopter, he probably has like a helipad at his house or something.
It's not a bad looking helicopter.
But he's also badass enough to fly it into the middle of the wilderness just to go fishing. I like this guy. I don't know who he is. I know he messed up a little bit, maybe by...
He got injured. Now, another thing that you'll know is he was by himself.
He was by himself.
Cruising along.
He flew in by himself
Yeah.
into the middle of a canyon to go fly fishing.
Yeah, it's so badass.
Badass.
Yeah. Shout out this guy, dude. Whoever you are, you should make your name known. Like, don't be scared of backlash because, yes, your helicopter ended up in a stream, and we never liked that, but you didn't do it on purpose. And I blame the ground next to the stream.
You are doing life right, my friend.
Yeah, dude. We'd love to have you on the pod if you want to chat.
Yeah. or we'll do it straight from the East Fork Carson River. Just fly us in there. We'll bring all our podcast equipment. We'll fish while we do the podcast.
We can be remote, bro. Like, fly us out.
Yeah, we'll fly all this.
He may need a new helicopter, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably going to take some time.
Yeah.
Unless he has a backup. Who knows? He might have.
Yeah.
He might be that guy.
He might be that guy. Yeah, I like this guy.
All right, let's get to the next story. The next story. Burney Falls Trail closure now expected to last until 2025. Kind of a bummer.
Nothing surprising here. Every time, these construction programs, processes happen, they usually last a little bit longer than we thought. So this is the Falls Loop Trail at Burney Falls. They're redoing the entire trail down to the bottom of the waterfall, probably one of the most popular little trails in Northern California, right? It started in April. It closed down, going down to the waterfall all through the summer. And they said they were going to finish up in fall. Now they said it's going to last until at least 2025. And with winter coming, my guess is it's going to push into at least spring. So we're going to have maybe a year of this closure at Burney Falls. Now, if you still want to go, I don't recommend you going, first and foremost. If you do want to go, you can still see the waterfall from the perch up above, but you can't hike down to sort of the coolest part, which is down at the bottom of the waterfall.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah, it's not that surprising, but why aren't they better at estimating these time turnarounds? It's like it seems like with the amount of money that is going into the infrastructure of all of the parks and trails and things like that, that you would be able to keep on a timeline that you set out from the beginning. But that being said, it better be badass when it's done. Like, it better be really cool and be maintainable and just be good for a decade plus.
Well, it's going to be a new trail. I mean, like you walk down that trail, everything's wet all the time because all that water coming from the waterfall just soaks it. So it leads to erosion. And then, of course, you have heavy foot traffic. Here's why I'm not surprised. This is an $835,000 project. That's not enough money to get it done.
Not a lot of money.
Yeah.
No.
So they, there's a lot of different, you're dealing with the elements when you're fixing these trails. Of course, like I said, the water constantly blasting must be hard for the cement to dry, like the new trail. So
yeah, but they build these cement towers to build the Golden Gate Bridge, in the bay, and that's all concrete, and that's all, I mean, talk about erosion.
It's billions of dollars.
Yeah, but they built that in the 30s or whatever, and it's still holding up just fine. You'd think they'd be able to put a walking trail together that wouldn't erode like crazy. I mean, look at Shasta Dam. I mean, you don't think that thing takes any abuse? I mean, I guess that's right. Fresh water, but we know how things erode, and we know how to plan accordingly.
It's $835,000.
Yeah,
it's just, I mean, knowing how much money they put into all these different things in the outdoors of Northern California, like we report on all of it, I read on all of it. That is so little money.
Yeah.
So that's why. Again, I would expect this to last until spring. I have a feeling it's going to be really hard to finish this early in 2025 due to the weather. And nonetheless, I probably would advise not to go to Burney Falls until next summer. So, take that however you want. It's not going to be the same experience. You could still see the waterfall. It's just not the same experience. And you might impact the ongoing construction.
Kind of a bummer, but again, when this is done, hopefully we don't have to renovate it again for 20 years.
They're also doing construction on Highway 89 right outside of it to sort of deal with the traffic issues they've had in recent years. So it's just an overall cluster of construction. So it's probably not the experience that you want going to the eighth wonder of the world.
Indeed. All right. Last story of the day. California State Park sees over 25,000 illegal cannabis plants in 2024 crackdown.
Yeah. So they do this every year. And I wasn't able to go back and see what they got last year. So, 4,800 pounds of processed cannabis. They got 18 firearms. They removed 25,000 plants. These are all on state park property. Who the hell is growing weed in a state park?
Well, it's been happening for decades. And when I was growing up, being an avid cannabis user, I loved hearing about the guys that would sneak into these parks and camp and grow some incredible cannabis. Now I hate these stories. Now I think it's terrible. I mean, when I felt that way, the cannabis industry in California was much different. It wasn't legal recreationally, and so everything had to be done kind of underground. It's not that way anymore. You could do things legally, and the reason that all of the laws pertaining to growing exist are mainly for environmental purposes. All of these people that are going on to these state parks are littering. They are definitely contaminating the local ecosystem. There's tens of thousands of pounds of trash and piping and all of that stuff. So this is all, I'm glad, the more the merrier, in my opinion. We have plenty of cannabis in the local economy. We don't need you to grow them in our state parks.
They removed 16,000 pounds of waste, 33 feet of plastic irrigation tubing.
33 feet, probably.
33,000 feet, sorry, of irrigation tubing, and over 600 pounds of fertilizer. The fertilizer is the worst because that stuff kills wildlife. It kills plant life. So look, we're all for cannabis. Like, great, grow weed wherever you want in a legal setting. Take it, smoke it, whatever, in a legal setting. It's really easy to do in California these days, right? You don't have to grow it on places that we like to recreate.
We're saving these parks for a reason.
Yeah.
We're literally trying to not make every single square inch of the United States covered in cement and pavement and buildings. And these pristine areas, let's try to keep them pristine, and just going and littering and taking advantage of them pisses me off.
And I know that some of these state parks are big and in some areas remote. You know, two of the areas that were big in these busts were Clear Lake State Park and Lake Orville, which we know there every year there's someone that grows on Lake Orville. Like it's not an if, but when you're gonna find them, right? But you know, isn't it asking to get busted to go on a state park? And maybe they don't know that these areas surrounding, say, Lake Orville in the middle of seemingly nowhere, like, is a state recreation area. But yeah, it's controlled by the state.
They're
monitoring
it's
it.
illegal to grow there. Whoever's growing it there knows that what they're doing is against the law.
And my guess is they get harsher penalties if you grow on either federal land or state land.
I'm sure.
So it's stupid to do it. Hey, again, you want to grow your weed, smoke your weed, whatever, do it. Just do it in a legal setting that doesn't harm, you know, the outdoors and the local wildlife and plant life and all that stuff.
Totally agree. And that concludes the NorCal Notes.
Okay, that's it for the NorCal Notes. Let's get to our interview. I had a great interview with Hailey Hawkins from the League to Save Lake Tahoe, also Keep Tahoe Blue. Let's go to Hailey. Okay, we'd now like to welcome on a very, very special guest. She is the Strategic Partners Manager at the League to Save Lake Tahoe, otherwise known as Keep Tahoe Blue. It's Hailey Hawkins. Thanks for joining us, Hailey.
Hey, Zach. Thanks so much. Excited to be here.
So I have to start with probably the lamest interview question to start ever, but I am generally curious. How's the weather up there? I know you guys are getting some snow.
That question. Thanks for asking. It's actually, the past couple weeks have been a little extra cloudy, but it's a sunny, mild day today. I think it's in the 40s. I took my dog on a walk. There's still some snow on the mountains, kind of sprinkled at the top, but it's nice and still kind of dry. So I feel like we're getting a little bit of a break before it gets super cold again.
It's tweener season, right? You're almost to the storms and the shoveling and the snow, but not there quite yet.
Yeah, and trying to squeak in those last bike rides.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk about the League to Save Lake Tahoe. I love what you guys do. We fully, we're super supportive of everything you guys do. And it's funny, this was years back. I went on a trip to Tahoe and my wife saw your stickers and she had no idea who you guys were or what you did. And I was surprised that people didn't know. So for anyone out there who doesn't know what the League to Save Lake Tahoe does, can you give us a little insight?
I love it. We have, we're most known for these iconic stickers and our iconic slogan, Keep Tahoe Blue. A lot of people actually think that we're a sticker company, but in fact, we are a 68 year-old organization of environmental experts and Tahoe lovers that keep Tahoe beachable, bikeable, boatable, hikeable, enjoyable, or any other able. You might insert your own verb here. We keep it enjoyable for everyone and for future generations.
That's amazing. I have so many questions about the nonprofit and how you guys operate, because you guys do a million different things and you have done so many things over the course of history on Lake Tahoe, or human history in Lake Tahoe. But one of your biggest contributions, at least publicly, is your trash cleanups. Mm-hmm. And, we all know of Tahoe as this big tourist destination, and people come in and they may not respect the lake as some locals do. So you guys organize these big trash cleanups. I'm specifically thinking about, 4th of July and all the trash that's on the beaches afterwards. So can you just talk a little bit about, how you guys organize these cleanups and how big they are in terms of keeping trash off the beaches and out of the lake?
Totally. I love how you said that. We do so many things. We untrash Lake Tahoe. We keep our waters crystal clear and free from invasive species. We make sure development makes things better, not worse. We repair the damage done to our ecosystems and our watersheds. We're finding solutions to our traffic problems and so much more. But to elaborate on our cleanups, which I agree are probably one of our most public-facing things that we do, we have an amazing community engagement team that's like kicking butt and getting our volunteers really actively involved. We also, sometimes the people that are coming to our events don't live in Tahoe, but they center their vacations around these events that they know we have coming up, like our July 5th cleanup, also known as our Keep Tahoe Red, White, and Blue cleanups. Every year on July 5th, we get up really early in the morning. And so I'm like going to bed really early on July 4th. So like when the fireworks happen, I'm like, guys, I have to be up at 5 in the morning. We get up super early on July 5th and we go clean up our beaches. And many of your listeners, and I'm sure you, Zach, remember what happened in 2023. There were 6,000 pounds of trash on one single Tahoe beach. It was really disappointing, but thanks to our volunteers, we got it all cleaned up. Because of that, all like the public outcry, after that, and us knowing that this was a really challenging problem that needed to be solved, we and a bunch of our partners, including the U.S. Forest Service, got together and created a Blue Beaches program. And this year, 2024, July 5th cleanup, there was like, I don't know, 97+% reduction in trash on that same beach. So instead of 6,000 pounds the year before, there was 200 pounds of trash, which is actually like pretty normal. That's like the normal after 4th of July. And so it's not, of course we want it to be zero, but we were really pleased with that reduction. Also in this year on July 5th, we had a record turnout number of volunteers. We had almost 800 volunteers from all over the lake at like 5, 6, 7 cleanup sites. And so we had a ton of people come out and help. And to me, that really spoke to how passionately people care about the lake. And it's just like such a cool thing. And, our cleanups are so important because once trash becomes micro trash or, micro nanoplastics, like you can't get that out of the lake. It's there forever. And so it's really important to us and the future of Tahoe and Tahoe's clarity to make sure we get that trash out before it gets in the lake. So, all of our volunteers and our community engagement team are just really making it happen.
Yeah, you talk about 2023, and unfortunately, I think just like human nature in general, is we have to experience those really bad years in order for humans to learn. But that probably goes to your messaging, right? Is almost just as important as the actual physical cleanup itself. Is telling people to clean up after yourself before you leave. Would you agree?
Yeah, we have a bunch of cute names for things, but we call that being a Tahoe Blue Gooder. So we want people to leave no trace, of course. Leave it better than you found it. We want people to choose reusable. So like bring your reusable water bottle with you, bring in, a handkerchief, bring a napkin, bring your pet waste bags, all of these things to make sure that we are reducing our waste as much as possible. Because, like I mentioned, the majority of the trash that we find on our shores is plastic. And a lot of that is related to food. So like single-use plastic water bottles, utensils, to-go containers, the list goes on. And so if we can stop that at the source, that's the best case solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Tahoe's water is so fascinating. It's, known for being crystal clear blue. And of course, that's partly because of you guys trying to keep it blue. But there are a lot of different factors that can harm the quality of the water in Lake Tahoe. You mentioned invasive species. You mentioned microplastics. What are some things that people maybe don't think of when it comes to both the health and the clarity of Lake Tahoe?
I'm just blown away by how good of a question that is, Zach. So I think one of the biggest things that contributes to the clarity of the lake and that people don't think of is our cars and transportation. So Lake Tahoe gets about 15 million visits per year. And to put that in perspective for the listeners, that is more than any national park in the United States. In fact, it's 4 times more than Yosemite National Park. But we are a national park. We don't have the same protections. And So we have to kind of like monitor that and make sure that we're treating our lake well. And so, like I mentioned, cars, 15 million visits, that's a lot of cars. And every time we drive on the road, there's particles from our tires and the asphalt that are coming up. And when it rains or when the snow melts, all of that ends up in the lake. And that impacts the clarity of the lake. It also can, due to like some really fancy scientific processes that are not my expertise, it can also lead to the environment, like the environment of the lake being more conducive to like algae growth and aquatic invasive species. So it kind of becomes this like positive feedback loop. So we really want to encourage people to use public transportation when they can, carpool when they can, use your bike when you can. There's tons of awesome bike stores where you can rent bikes while you're visiting in town. So I think that's something that that folks can think a little bit more about on their next trip to Tahoe.
Yeah, you don't think about it. I mean, you have to drive to Tahoe, right? Like, there's not a ton of options other than, hopping in your car and driving there. So I certainly love like bringing my bike, because South Lake Tahoe, especially, and like Tahoe City and Truckee are super bikeable. But like in terms of public transportation, like what's the best way for people to use that? Specifically, let's say South Lake Tahoe.
Sure. In South Lake Tahoe, we have a bus that stops up and down. I know that schedule is online. We also have Lake Link, which is really cool. It's a microtransit option. Keep Tahoe Blue was actually instrumental in bringing that to the lake, and we did the first pilot. It was really exciting, and that's improving. And so, say you're going to a concert in near the casinos or at the new Tahoe Blue Event Center, take Lake Link and check it out. And then you don't have to drive after maybe you've been having some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So just, I mean, there's a ton of examples about what you guys do in Lake Tahoe, but I wanted to talk about a specific one because maybe it will give people an idea of exactly what you guys do. Recently, it was announced that, AT&T had these telecommunication cables in the lake. And you have been, there was a lawsuit and so on and so forth, but you've been working with them to remove them. Can you talk a little bit about that process and why it's important for an organization like you to maybe be sort of the middleman of the people that are looking out for the environment of Lake Tahoe and the businesses that maybe aren't so good for it?
Yeah, we have been in ever since we heard about the cables in the lake, which unfortunately contain lead. We have been a big part of making sure that those get out of the lake from the very beginning. And the good news is, actually, just this morning we sent out an alert that said that those cables are now officially in the process of being removed. It's been a really long road, working with AT&T, working with the land managers, getting permits, testing, all of the stuff, but our science and advocacy team has been on it and with them the entire time. So that's just been great. I believe that there is definitely a role with partnerships and nonprofits and businesses, and by working together, we can do better and be better. And that's just, part of the process. And as the on the ground experts that have, been stewarding the lake since 1957, like we're, more than happy to serve that role for the community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also saw you guys posted on Instagram the other day. There was like a proposed bridge that was going to go across Emerald Bay.
Yeah,
I had no idea. When was that?
That's gnarly, right? So
yeah.
In 1957, in the 1950s, this huge development plan was proposed, and that was the catalyst that created the League to Save Lake Tahoe. Our founders saw the development plan, which included a bridge over the mouth of Emerald Bay and also development around the lake that would have been able to house like almost quarters of a million people full time. Now, to put that in perspective for you, about 60,000 people live around the lake full time now. And so if you can imagine, a population that rivaled a very metropolitan area, Lake Tahoe could have looked really differently. But luckily our founders saw that and said like, nope, this place is too special for that to happen. Historically, Lake Tahoe had a clarity of 100 feet. You could see 100 feet down into the lake. Now it's only about 60 feet in the summer. And so, some years are better than others. But I mean, even with stopping that development project, like our clarity is still being impacted. And so I reflect on, if that development project hadn't have been stopped, Tahoe would not be the amazing world-renowned destination that it is. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, it's really interesting just to hear you talk about all that, cars and traffic and housing and all these different aspects that, the environment surrounding Tahoe is super important to keeping Tahoe blue, quote unquote, and so that's fascinating to hear. I also know that you guys work with other businesses to sort of, promote the lake, clean up the lake, so on and so forth. It's your Blue Business Program. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, well, I would love to, Zach, especially because Active NorCal is also a blue business.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. So our Blue Business Program is how we help businesses help the lake and amplify them and uplift them as leaders in our community at the same time. When we created this program, something that was coming up a lot was reciprocity. In so many ways, the health of the lake and the health of the community in Tahoe are just intrinsically connected. And so we want to help businesses help take care of the lake in that way. We have there's a lot of really awesome aspects about the program, but maybe I'll let you ask me questions before I just start rolling.
No, go ahead. It's great. And I think, especially for a nonprofit, it's super important to get out in the community, not only to send the messages that you're trying to send to the public, but also to gain those strategic partnerships to help reach the public for funding, so on and so forth. Right. Tell me how if there's a business out there, say whether they're local Lake Tahoe or not local Lake Tahoe, how can they, participate, and what exactly is it?
Yeah. Thanks, Zach. So thanks for steering me. Our Blue Business Program is really cool. And one of my favorite parts about it is that it's super flexible and inclusive and accessible. We designed it that way very intentionally. So the program is based around these 4 buckets. And again, they have cute names. There's Share Blue, Join Blue, Be Blue, and Support Blue. The Share Blue means we would love businesses' help getting the word out to visitors and residents alike on how we do things here in Tahoe. And how we do things is, we already talked about it. We're being blue-gooders. We're leaving no trace, picking up after ourselves, choosing reusables, carpooling, picking up after our pets, etc. And that's where Active NorCal really does an amazing job of being one of our Blue Business partners. Not only have y'all highlighted us in your print edition, you also post things on social media all the time. We're so grateful for that because y'all are just such a good example of what it could mean to to educate others and share that ethic, that ethos. One of those other buckets is Join Blue. That means getting involved with our cleanups, like we already talked about. And we also do really cool restoration events where we plant trees and where they're appropriate to plant and do some other cool stuff. One of our next bucket is the Be Blue bucket. And that really revolves around businesses taking a look at their impact and trying to mitigate it as much as possible. Maybe that looks like removing all single-use plastics from their operations or implementing zero waste practices, whatever it is, reducing our impact. We all have an impact. I'm going to drive my car here later to go on a bike ride, but we can all do what we can when we can to, do better. And then our last bucket is Support Blue. And that's when businesses help us with much needed funding to do our lake saving work. And that can be done in a variety of ways too. Write us a check. We love that. Or if it would make more sense to fundraise through a really awesome collaborative product, great, we want to talk about it. Again, the purpose of this program is to make it really easy for business to get involved with us because every business is different. And that means that the ways that they help will be different too. Another really important value of the program is equity. We want any business to be able to benefit from partnering with us. And we believe that means that you shouldn't have to write a giant check to end up at the top of our webpage. If you're doing really awesome work for the lake, we want everyone to know about it.
Yeah, no, I love what you guys are doing with this, and I know this is sort of your baby, so I'm glad that you can talk about it. But just having discussions, you and I, when we first started talking, you're just like, what do you want to do? Let's do whatever, and I think that's such a great way to get with businesses because, like you said, every business is different. Not everyone's in a position to just write a check, right? But, we can inspire, we can do events, we can help promote, all that different stuff. So really cool program.
Thank you.
Personally, what's your favorite part about living in Tahoe?
Just the access. I'm going to go on a bike ride with a couple of my coworkers this afternoon. Like we can just do that. And I think, that's the best. We can drive 5 minutes to go snowboarding and skiing. I mean, it's just feel like it's good. It's good for the soul. And I live in a neighborhood where I can walk my dog next to the lake every day. And I get to see this lake that I am protecting. And it's so meaningful to me. That's definitely my favorite part.
Are you more of a summer or winter person?
Oh, how funny. Actually, my boss, Jesse, our chief strategy officer, he said this to me, and now I'm going to use it, but I wanted to give him credit. He said, you come for winter, but you stay for summer. And that's exactly what happened. I was so excited to snowboard at all the resorts and everything. And then summer happened when I had my first summer here, and I was just like, wow, I guess year round is just spectacular.
Yeah, my family, we used to go to Tahoe every year to ski, and I never even thought about the lake. When I was a kid, I just wanted to go to the mountains. And then as I got older, I'm like, oh, they have beaches in the summer, and you can go wakeboarding and biking. So it's an amazing place. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. Finally, just a normal person, that is passionate about the lake. How can they help? How can they support League to Save Lake Tahoe?
Heck yeah. Please go to keeptahoeblue.org. Check us out. Check out all the great ways there are to volunteer. You can also follow us on all the social medias, the Instagrams, Facebook, LinkedIn even, and just check it out and learn why Tahoe is so important. I feel like maybe there's a lot of people that have come up here. Every time we're traveling somewhere and I tell them I work for the League to Save Lake Tahoe, every single time somebody will say oh, I've been there. And then they will share this magical memory with me of them during their anniversary with their spouse. And it's just, Tahoe is such a place for amazing memories. And we're in the business of protecting those memories. And, we would love for you to help and join us. So please check us out, keeptahoeblue.org.
At the very least, you got to buy one of those cool stickers.
Buy a sticker. Yeah,
it's kind of, you see a car driving down the road with one of those stickers and you just thumbs up. You're great job.
You, Betty, me and you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I echo that. When I travel around the country, Northern California has a few places that are really renowned, I think, but Lake Tahoe is number one, and you're right next to the lake. I'm an hour away. Sometimes it feels like we don't appreciate it maybe as much as we should, but it's such a great place, and we really do appreciate what you guys do. So thank you very much.
Yay! Thanks, Zach. Thank you, Active NorCal. Thank you. Yeah, y'all are great.
Yes. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll have to have you on again. I'd like to actually go to, because I know you guys have a new office. I want to go and maybe do an interview there next time because, like I said, I have a million questions. I feel like we could talk for an hour. So thank you so much for coming on, and we'll talk again soon.
Great. Talk soon.
Okay. Big thanks to Hailey Hawkins, Keep Tahoe Blue. Just a great organization. There's a few nonprofits in Northern California that I actively support, and we actively try to promote, through our content.
One of the best bumper stickers in all of Northern California.
Well, it's and that's really, they've been a great partner with us, and we've done some stuff with them, some mutual beneficial partnerships. But, I just think that some people don't know what that sticker is, right? It's every time you buy that sticker, you're giving money to them, and then they use it to support the environment surrounding Lake Tahoe. And it's not just the lake. I mean, the lake is the centerpiece of everything, but they're trying to keep the area clean. They're trying to make it a better place for everyone. It's so interesting when she talks about, it's like, how do we, what's the best way to help keep Lake Tahoe clean? Just a normal person. And she's like, try to drive less. And it's stuff you don't think about, right? But so they're doing all sorts of stuff with traffic. They're doing stuff with housing, like just to maybe limit the footprint a little bit. And so they're great. We love what they do. Keep it up. And so go support Keep Tahoe Blue. We love them. So that's it. That's it for the podcast.
That's all we got this week.
All right. Well, this podcast is brought to you by the Active NorCal magazine. Go subscribe. Use the code Talking NorCal. You're going to get $10 off a $30 subscription. So you're just going to pay $20 a year. Then when you're done with that, go on our social media pages and go sign up for our Houseboat giveaway with houseboats.com. More than $3,000 giveaway for the Odyssey Houseboat on Shasta Lake. We're super stoked if you can't tell.
Listen, do you and 15 to 20 of your friends want to go on an exciting 3-night party on an awesome 2-story with hot tub houseboat on Shasta Lake? If so, just do what he just said.
You could be the coolest person in your friend group. Like you could be the coolest person in your friend group, in your family. Just do it. We're going to have a winner. We've already had a lot of people sign up. So sign up now. Get your name in now. We're going to announce the winner on the 19th. Should we do some sort of live or something? Maybe we should go live and pick the person.
We'll figure it out.
Usually I put the names in an automator and they just pick the person. But maybe we should actually put the names out and put it in a hat. There's going to be maybe 1,000 people.
We could make a wheel and literally do the wheel live, and we could do that.
There's going to be 1,000 entries. So a wheel's tough. Also, writing everyone's name and pulling them out of a hat would be tough too. Maybe we automate it to pick 5 people and then pick one of the 5 out of a hat or something.
We'll figure it out. Stay tuned to the Talking NorCal podcast for updates there.
I know people are super excited for this giveaway. By the way, we're going to do a ton of other giveaways. So even if you don't win this one, you have a chance to win any of our great giveaways coming up in the next 2 months, years. I mean, we're always working with local businesses to do giveaways for the subscribers of the magazine. So go subscribe to the magazine. Remember, use the code Talking NorCal to get $10 off your subscription. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, stay active.
NorCal, we're hella NorCal, and I could spend all day just chilling in the South Bay. We're NorCal, we're hella NorCal, and Darren knows how to kick it down in Santa Cruz. We're NorCal, we're hella NorCal, and we get a little cray-cray when we visit the East Bay. We're NorCal.